evening, viewers. This is the QTV Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM, and I am Mamna Buka. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. As part of his nationwide development tour, President Adama Barrow on Monday inaugurated the 12-kilometer Njau Loop Road in the Central River region and launched new road projects in the North Bank region. President Barrow on Monday held a mass meeting in Njau with residents from surrounding communities in the Central River region north, highlighting his government's ongoing investment and development efforts in the region. As the Gambia enters the peak of the rainy season in August, the National Disaster Management Agency says it is strengthening preparedness and response efforts while urging communities to remain vigilant and take early action to protect lives and property. A two-day training course for media practitioners and children's rights and ethical reporting organized by the Gambia Press Union and its partners commenced today to strengthen child-sensitive reporting and promote responsible coverage of issues affecting children. In international news, Chad celebrates its 66th Independence Day today, August the 11th, marking more than 6 decades since the Central African nation broke away from French colonial rule in 1960. Those were the headlines. Coming up next, the news in detail. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, as part of his nationwide development tour, President Barrow on Wednesday inaugurated the 12-kilometer Njau Loop Road in the Central River region north and launched new road projects in Farafenye in the North Bank region. Usman Jatta reports.
President Barrow began the third day of his nationwide development tour with a quarter guard inspection at the Farafenye military installation before proceeding to inspect key development project sites. His first stop was Yalal Tankunjala, where he laid the foundation stone for a new road project aimed at improving access within the community. The president then traveled to Farafenye, Mauritania, a community that has long struggled with poor road conditions and flooding. Residents including Alhaji Yaya Jawa and Ibu Fai welcomed the project, saying it will improve mobility and ease some of the difficulties they face during the rainy season. From Farafenye, President Barrow traveled to the Central River region north, where he officially inaugurated the 12-kilometer Njau Loop Road. The road connects several communities including Chamin, Buduk and Kaurwa, improving access to the Trans-Gambia corridor and making travel easier for residents, farmers and traders. Addressing the media, President Barrow said his government will continue to invest in roads to improve connectivity and support development.
These roads, the roads, we have very bad roads in this country, and it has taken Gambia 52 years. People have not been connected. Nyanida was considered as the poorest consequence district, for that matter, because it was not accessible. Today you can come to Nyanida easily. So basically these are all health facilities and roads. They are social projects that will definitely go a long way in addressing some of the people's challenges. Well, I'm very happy because I have seen the end of the project. We are able to deliver the project to the people. The communities are happy and we are happy.
For communities that have waited years for better roads, these projects offer hope for easier movement, safer journeys and improved livelihoods. Osman Jatta, QTV News, Central River Region North.
Still on President Adama Barrow, His Excellency on Wednesday held a mass meeting in Njau with residents from surrounding communities in the Central River region north, highlighting his government's ongoing investment and development efforts in the region. Usman Jatta again.
It was a lively gathering as residents of Salom, Nyanija and neighboring communities turned out in large numbers to welcome President Barrow. The national anthem opened the event, setting the tone for the gathering, followed by cultural performances and musical entertainment, including a performance by award-winning artist One Park, which added to the celebrations. Speaking on behalf of the communities, District Chief Dembasi, women and youth representatives commended the government for bringing development projects closer to the people. They also appealed for greater support in areas including security, water for livestock, affordable fertilizer and other services to boost agriculture and livelihoods. National Assembly member for Upper Salom, Alhaji Mbow, made this appeal to residents of Nyanija and Salom. Lands and Religious Affairs Minister Hamad Nkeba urged citizens to uphold the rule of law and work together to safeguard peace and national unity.
Rule of law will apply. This government will protect every citizen in this country without ill will, without favor. Barrow will implement the law. Barrow will do what is right to protect Gambians and their properties. Thank you.
President Barrow highlighted the government's ongoing development efforts in Central River Region North, including investments in roads, healthcare and other essential services.
Today is significant for the country for various reasons. First, we are laying a strong foundation for the future, characterized by inclusive and irreversible economic and structural growth. Second, these road projects in Yang and Sanyar must not be welcomed merely as a physical structure. It is a lifeline for a people, as it will connect farmers to markets, children to school, and families to healthcare and other services.
The nationwide tour continues as the government showcases ongoing development projects and engages communities across the country. Osman Jata, QTV News, CRR North.
As the Gambia enters the peak of the rainy season in August, the National Disaster Management Agency says it is strengthening preparedness and response efforts while urging communities to remain vigilant and take early action to protect lives and property. Lole M. Kamara spoke to the agency's Interim Director of Operations, Momodu BK and filed this report.
For many families in low-lying and flood-prone communities, the rainy season brings more than relief from the heat. Heavy downpours can quickly turn roads into waterways, cut off communities and force families to move to safer areas. With memories of previous floods still fresh for many communities, the National Disaster Management Agency's Interim Director of Operations, Momodu BK says preparedness and early action are essential to reduce the impact of disasters.
We ensure that we conducted training for NDMA staff. This was supported by Catholic Relief Services, CRS, and we take them through incident management system, EOC management, that is Emergency Operations Center management, artificial intelligence forecasting, and ICT.
Mr. Cisse stresses that disaster preparedness is not only the NDMA's responsibility.
A lot of institutions are doing extremely well when it comes to DRR. For example, we have a project in the Gambia called Live AR. Live AR is a project that is implemented by Ministry of Environment in collaboration with Community Development, and they are doing extremely well when it comes to community action planning, investment plan development. So those are extremely well to reduce communities' vulnerabilities and enhance their resilience.
According to Mr. Cisse, these are some of the disaster hotspots across the regions.
We identify Bara as a disaster hotspot. Same North Bank, you go to Farafenye. Farafenye, at some point, when you go after the petrol GNPC, you realize that that's a natural waterway. And as a natural waterway, it attracts flooding, for example. You go to CRR, for example, we have Bansang Farokono. You go to Basse, we have Kabakama.
For residents in flood-prone areas, preparedness cannot wait until the flood waters arrive. Mr. Cisse reflected on recent disasters that resulted in loss of life.
The man actually died with the daughter. They slipped off while coming from the farm, and NDMA really feel very much sad about the situation. Our regional coordinator was asked to join the regional authorities who visited the family and also went to the site to see for themselves.
The NDMA's interim director is urging communities to closely monitor weather updates and early warning alerts throughout this period.
When, for example, you see that the cloud has actually improved, that the probability of rain coming is very, very high, I will advise farmers to stop what they are doing and go home. If you are a driver and you are plying the highway, it is raining heavily, please stop the vehicle until water ceases and you start moving. For some of us who are at home, please let us switch off our appliances, especially electrical appliances.
As the rains intensify, the success of these measures will depend not only on the resources available, but also on how quickly warnings reach communities and how effectively institutions and residents respond. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
That report by Lolly M. Kamara will take us on a commercial break. When we return, we have more national and international news stories. Do stay tuned.
Important news for prospective pilgrims. Ajib Bank Limited, in collaboration with the Gambia International Airlines (GIA), has officially commenced the collection of deposit payments for the 2027 Hajj pilgrimage. Intending pilgrims planning to perform the holy journey with the nation's premier travel operator can now secure their spots early. The initial deposit required to register for the 2027 Hajj package is $400,000. Payments can be made at any Ajib Bank branch nationwide. After making your deposit, remember to present your bank payment slip to the Gambia International Airlines offices to update your records and finalize your registration. As seats are allocated on a first-come, first-served basis, early registration is strongly encouraged to guarantee your spot for this sacred journey. For further details on registration requirements and account information, visit your nearest Ajib Bank branch or contact the Gambia International Airlines Hajj Secretariat.
In today's world, speed matters, but slow internet can hold you back. Now, the future of connectivity has arrived in the Gambia. QCell's Q-Fiber, ultra-fast, ultra-reliable internet designed for the way you live. Stream your favorite shows without buffering. Power your business with seamless video calls. Study, work, and play online like never before. From homes to businesses, QCell Fiber is connecting the Gambia to the future. QCell's Q-Fiber. Get connected today. Call 145 or 300-3779. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News and I am Mamna Buka. Now on to the rest of our stories. A 2-day training course for media practitioners on children's rights and ethical reporting, organized by the Gambia Press Union in partnership with the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa, commenced today. The training aims to strengthen journalists' understanding of child-sensitive reporting. Loliam Kamara again.
When a child is harmed, journalists are often among the first to bring the story to the public. while responsible reporting can give vulnerable children a voice and help expose abuse, insensitive or careless coverage can cause further harm. Funded by UNICEF, the event brought together media practitioners from both print and electronic media for a 2-day training session. The training examines the legal and ethical standards that should guide media reporting on issues involving children. For the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa, the media remains a key partner in advancing child protection and promoting children's rights. Here is the Executive Director of IHRDA.
We want to get journalists to write more and speak more about the violations and the child protection issues that are happening in our community. That's the whole idea of this exercise, and to do it ethically and responsibly.
Mr. Kika also highlighted several sensitive issues requiring careful and responsible reporting in the Gambia, including child marriage, child labor, FGM, child exploitation in tourism, and cases involving children before the courts. The president of the Gambia Press Union, Aissatou Keita, says the growing reach of radio, television, and social media makes ethical reporting more important than ever. She warns that stories involving children can remain accessible for years, potentially affecting their education, relationship within their communities, and overall well-being.
This is the reality we now work in, and it is why this training like this is no longer seen to be something that is optional, but very much necessary. Ethical reporting on children is not always the easiest path in the moment, but it is the path that protects both the child and our own credibility in the long run.
Over the 2 days, participants are expected to examine real-life scenarios, newsroom practices, and the child rights framework, while developing practical tools to strengthen future reporting. Both UNICEF country representative Ms. Nafisa Bint Safik and Minister of Communications and Broadcasting, Dr. Ismaila Cisse, emphasized the importance of the initiative.
My challenge to you today is to help change the narrative. Tell stories that show children as capable, courageous, and full of possibility as thinkers, innovators, leaders, change makers, whose voices and ideas can help shape the future of the Gambia.
There is one principle we must never forget, that a child is not a content. A child is not a photograph for engagement. A child's trauma is not entertainment. And the vulnerability of a child must never become the currency for media attention. We must therefore ask ourselves before publishing a story, does this story serve the public interest? Or does it simply satisfy public curiosity?
For journalists attending the training, the challenge now is to translate the lessons learned into responsible, ethical, and child-sensitive reporting practices within their newsrooms. For QTV News, Loliam Kamara.
Next, we'll have international news. Now, Chad celebrates its 66th Independence Day on August 11th, marking more than 6 decades since the Central African nation broke away from French colonial rule. The anniversary comes as Chad reflects on its transformation, economic potential, political changes, and the challenges that continue to affect its people. Jacqueline Coley tells us more.
Chad gained independence from France on August 11, 1960, becoming one of 14 African countries that year to achieve sovereignty from France during the wave of the decolonization that swept across the continent. François Tombalbaye became the country's first president, but the years that followed were marked by political instability, rebellion, and civil conflict. Despite these difficulties, Chad has undergone major economic and social transformation. Once overwhelmingly dependent on agriculture and livestock, the discovery and development of oil reserves in the early 2000s significantly changed the economy. Oil now accounts for about 15% of GDP, 41% of government revenues, and 76% of exports. Agriculture, however, remains central to livelihoods and contributes roughly 40% of GDP. Chad's strengths include its vast land area, agricultural potential, livestock resources, and strategic position linking Central and North Africa. Its Lake Chad region also provides opportunities in fishing, farming, trade, and cross-border commerce. Recent development projects are restoring agricultural land, improving roads, and creating employment opportunities, particularly for young people and women. However, economic progress has not translated into enough formal employment. About 88% of jobs are in the formal economy, with agriculture employing a large share of the population. The country also faces high poverty, limited infrastructure, and inadequate access to education, healthcare, electricity, and clean water. Politically, Chad has attempted to return to constitutional government following years of military rule and instability. The 2024 presidential election brought Muhammad Idris Deby to the presidency, but political tensions remain. Constitutional amendments approved in 2025 extended presidential terms from 5 to 7 years without term limits, raising concerns among opposition groups. Climate change, droughts, floods, insecurity, and the impact of conflict in neighboring countries, particularly Sudan, add further pressure. As Chad marks independence, the country's challenge is to convert its natural wealth into inclusive development, create more jobs, and strengthen political stability while building a more resilient future for its people. Reporting for QTV News, I'm Jacqueline Collie.
Also in international news, World Steel Pan Day is observed every year on August the 11th to celebrate the cultural, historical, and social importance of the steel pan, a musical instrument that originated in Trinidad and Tobago. The United Nations officially proclaimed the day in 2023. More in this report by Babu Karsisi.
World Steel Pan Day shines a spotlight on one of the Caribbean's most distinctive musical creations and its journey from humble beginnings to an internationally recognized instrument. The steel pan emerged in Trinidad and Tobago during the early 20th century, particularly among Afro-Trinidadian communities. It developed from the creative reuse of discarded metal objects, including oil drums, after colonial-era restrictions affected traditional forms of percussion. It has frequently been referred to as the first and possibly only acoustic instrument invented in the 20th century. Over time, musicians refined the instrument, producing different notes and increasingly complex melodies. Today, steel pan music is closely associated with Trinidad and Tobago Carnival and has spread throughout the Caribbean and to the communities around the world. Steel bands and steel orchestras now perform a wide range of music, demonstrating the instrument's versatility beyond traditional carnival celebrations. The United Nations says the steel pan has cultural, social, and economic significance and can contribute to sustainable development through tourism, culture, education, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. It also highlights the instrument's potential to support youth empowerment, gender equality, inclusive societies, and the creative economy. The day also celebrates creativity and resilience. What began from limited resources became a powerful expression of identity, community, and cultural pride. For Trinidad and Tobago, the steel pan represents an important part of national heritage, while internationally it demonstrates how music can connect communities and preserve cultural traditions. The United Nations encourages countries, cultural organizations, schools, and communities to mark the occasion through performances, workshops, exhibitions, and educational activities that raise awareness of the steel pan's history and its contribution to sustainable development. World Steel Pan Day, therefore, serves not only as a celebration of music, but also as a reminder of the power of creativity to transform communities and turn cultural heritage into opportunities for education, employment and economic development. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
We have reached the end of this bulletin, but before we go, here's a recap of the headlines. As part of his nationwide development tour, President Adama Barrow on Monday inaugurated the 12-kilometer Njau Loop Road in the Central River region and launched new road projects in the North Bank region. President Barrow on Monday held a mass meeting in Njau with residents from surrounding communities in the Central River region north, highlighting his government's ongoing investment and development efforts in the region. As the Gambia enters the peak of the rainy season in August, the National Disaster Management Agency says it's strengthening preparedness and response efforts while urging communities to remain vigilant and take early action to protect lives and property. A two-day training course for media practitioners on children's rights and ethical reporting organized by the Gambia Press Union and its partners commenced today to strengthen child-sensitive reporting and promote responsible coverage of issues affecting children. In international news, Chad celebrates its 66th Independence Day today, August the 11th, marking more than 6 decades since the Central African nation broke away from French colonial rule in 1960. That's all for this bulletin. Join us again at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thank you for watching.